All right, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Strategic Possibilities. So, for this episode, we're going to be sharing 10 bleepy ideas, and we'll just call them crappy ideas. And this episode is inspired by author James Altucher. He is uh, a a motivational speaker, comedian, financial consultant, or he does a financial. He used to be a financial consultant. I think he's more in the game of becoming a public figure right now and comedian and all that. And he does this podcast, and he did it with Steve Cohen, and he's one of the leading thought leaders on the concept of writing 10 ideas per day, which is part of what inspired this. And I heard this amazing podcast episode from them, or between James Altucher and Steve Cohen, where he talks about bad ideas. And he has just this bizarre idea that has to do with bleep. Now, and he was going to pitch it to producers, or I think he held back against it. But basically what the message was that your bad ideas can turn into either good ideas, and that it's okay to have bad ideas. So whether you're thinking about, regardless of what your business is, whether you're a student or whether you're a investor, whether you're a movie producer, YouTube producer, you want to create a LinkedIn profile, build a business, build a website, build a blog idea. At the end of the day, there's certain ideas that are just so terrible that you want to keep them to yourself, but that doesn't mean that they can't transform into something bigger. So his idea about bleep or crap is inspired a list of crappy, bleepy ideas that are about bleep. And it's not completely disgusting, not like the episode that he was talking about, but so number one, just to give you an idea, is World's Dirtiest Toilets reality show. Now, just imagine or it doesn't even have to be on major TV, but just imagine if there was a YouTuber, and there's got to be a YouTuber who's done this already. I didn't actually look it up, but while I was making this list, or have I researched it, but a YouTuber who goes into random bathrooms around the world and he looks for the dirtiest toilets, or he looks up on Google Maps and looks up dirty toilets and tries to find the most disgusting toilets on the planet. And I'm sure somebody would watch that, at least as long as it's a funny person who's delivering it. Like, if it wasn't a funny person, it would just be gross. But if it's funny and somebody and it's gross, then there's that comedic element of it too. So number two is the opposite of that: the nicest bathrooms in the world. And people love luxury. People love seeing gold laden steaks and gold wrapped chocolates and things like that. And we've all heard about golden toilets. So this would be the world's nicest bathrooms in the world. And wouldn't that be fun to know what luxury pooping is like? Number three, IG investigation for bathrooms of less than 3-star restaurants. Okay, so this would be, and I say IG, I'm pretty sure it does say, I'm guessing that's Instagram, but this could be more than Instagram. I don't know why I put IG, but the 3-star restaurants, like, you think of a less than 3-star restaurant, like, why is it less than a 3-star restaurant? How bad can the service be that a person won't, or many people won't even give it more than 3 stars? Like, that's just so bizarre. Like, their food has to be terrible, or their service has to be terrible, or something. Like, if you just have average food and you give good service, you could get at least a 4. So, it just blows my mind that certain restaurants are below a 3, and maybe it's from certain people who just had a bad experience and they're the only ones who rated it. Who knows? But what if someone just investigated the bathrooms of less than 3-star restaurants? What would that look like? I mean, I think that would be a good demonstration of whether they are good or not. And you could compare them to maybe a Starbucks restroom, which, Starbucks keeps them fairly clean, and Subways too, because I used to clean Subway bathrooms. And it's pretty interesting to how clean certain bathrooms can be and how disgusting other ones get. So number 4, cameras down toilet holes. Now I'm not talking about, facing up as like a voyeur thing. I'm talking about down toilet holes, like, specifically to see what is in all of the disgusting, going into the toilet pipeline and seeing what's down there. Any other kind of camera in a bathroom, bad. No, do not, because that'll get you in trouble, and that's not good, and it's not ethical. So unless, they're a reality show and they're signing up to say, hey, yes, I'm willing to allow this to happen, right? But at the end of the day, cameras down into toilet holes to see what's down there, what's in the sewers, what happens between. It's like the toilet bowl is your stomach, the pipes are your intestines, and then the sewer is just the figurative toilet hole for all the poop, right? So what's in the intestines of our sewer systems? And again, these are crappy ideas. Like the idea is to just get ideas flowing, and maybe somebody out there might use them, maybe somebody might not, and maybe somebody is going to get offended, and maybe somebody is going to, become a millionaire off one of these ideas. Who knows? So number 5 is plumber reality mockumentary. Now I'm sure somebody has thought of this, but there's so many great places that can have mockumentaries, like warehouse workers. There's great TV shows. I think there's a show called Superstore, and it's about working in a giant like retailer. So, imagine at a car dealership, at a plumbing company, what that mockumentary would be like, and the different types of customers they come up with. I'm thinking like Reno 911. Reno 911 meets like a not as advanced version of The Office, because I don't think like plumbers really hang around in an office anywhere, so I don't think you'd be able to capture that. But definitely Reno 911 and a group of plumbers who are constantly like getting involved with random customers and the weird things that they see and go through, and the weird things that they have to fix. Maybe finding jewelry and stuff. I don't know. Number 6, the toilet vlogger. If someone wants to brand themselves as a toilet vlogger, there's your idea. Number 7, IG page microscoping different poops from animals. I wouldn't watch this personally unless, you could tell that it wasn't poop. But in terms of a crappy idea, definitely a scientist might be able to get some interest in microscoping what's in poops of different animals. Number 8, live stream of cats and litter boxes. So cats are constantly using litter boxes, and they're cute. So this would be like an interesting video if you just had like a big cat warehouse or something, or if you've got a lot of cats and you just live streamed the litter box and just see what your cats do as they approach the litter box. I mean, I think sometimes our cats fight for litter boxes, and they get upset at each other when they use it for too long. And it's funny watching a cat's reaction when they're just staring while I don't know how every cat does it, but when you look at them and they're using a litter box, it's amusing. It can be. And this isn't completely gross because usually it's covered or whatever, but you can figure out your own way to make this interesting. Now, number 9, this is Everybody Poops the Movie. Now, Everybody Poops is a popular book title. So, why not turn that into a movie? Why hasn't somebody turned that into a movie? I'm sure someone must have turned it into like a YouTube video or something. So, maybe it already has. But what else can be done from it? What else can it turn into? And then number 10, finally, of the last idea on this list of bleepy ideas, subleepy ideas with an S, or crappy ideas, we've got 10, a movie based on the premise of making mundane things like using the bathroom interesting. So this gets more creative, and you'd have to know a little bit more about filmmaking for this. So when you're making a film, there's movies, right? And they base it on a script. But here's an interesting thing is a lot of directors have their very own styles. And there are movies that are based on a single premise, like, trying to take a certain angle throughout the movie, or like Memento, where the premise is like a guy can't remember anything, and then they have to do all these like different film scripts to put them together. Or there's other movies like that. There's a famous movie that was filmed in first person, and they made that first person like virtual reality or something like that. So what if there was a movie based on, not so much the script or the story, but there was maybe an art movie, an artsy movie that a person was specifically for mundane things. So say like the entire movie was based on, because every movie that we see, they're based on like funny moments, like, oh, this person's doing this person's fighting a battle, or this person's out to a secret meeting, or this person is having a deep conversation with somebody, or sitting in a coffee shop talking to someone. But what if instead of having all these exciting moments and happen, you have all of these mundane moments, like somebody just standing washing the dishes, and that's when the biggest conversation happens, or somebody just mowing the lawn, and then something happens, or someone using the bathroom and something happens, or someone just sitting and sewing and knitting, and that's where like the action of the movie happens. Who knows? I mean, again, the whole premise, and that's where the challenge for the director and the movie creator is, the producer, is to turn these like mundane things, these moments that happen, that everybody does in real life, that everybody in real life is actively engaged in, like cleaning, washing dishes, using the bathroom, going up and down the stairs, trying to fumble with their keys to lock or unlock the door, sitting in their car to let it cool down or heat up. And there's all these like different mundane situations that, if a director wanted to challenge themselves to see how interesting they can make a situation, this could be it. If someone wants to take a challenge of turning mundane things into something funny, hilarious, engaging, something that tests the limits of their creativity. Because if you've got a good script, you got a lot of money, you could definitely create something incredibly interesting. But if you got a super crappy script and even a lot of money, you could make something out of it. But if you've got a crappy script and super low budget, what can you create is the question. Can you make it something interesting just out of fun? And you could even think about this as someone who does vlogs, as I mentioned, the toilet vlogger, someone who's just literally sharing their ideas, podcast from a toilet. And those are the crappy ideas, the bleepy ideas for this episode of Strategic Possibilities. And ultimately what I would take away from this so much is not, can you do those ideas? I mean, if you can't, great. I'm glad that I was able to share something with you that inspired you or motivated you to want to go make something. I mean, you don't have to take away just these ideas, but you can turn them into something else, transform them. And, what inspired this again was James Altucher's episode, his amazing podcast. There's a link in the description below. But also beyond that, talking about choosing yourself and becoming an idea machine, becoming a resource for ideas, just having so many ideas that eventually you're going to find something that motivates you to take action on what you're moving towards. So there's a book in the description below. It's James Altucher's book, Choose Yourself. It's a fantastic read. I think he has set it at a very affordable price. I don't want to say the price because Amazon does not like it when people say prices of products, because there might be times that it changes. So I'm not going to say it, but it's incredibly affordable. So check it out. If you've got Kindle, it's incredibly affordable. You can order a physical copy, and I personally read it, and it is absolutely amazing, because not only is the story great, but the ideas in it to help you live a better life, to help you choose yourself in some tumultuous times. If you happen to be listening to this during COVID-19, then these are tough times, and choosing yourself is more important than ever. And if you're not listening to it during COVID-19, it's still very valuable, because the world is constantly changing. There's going to be different types of employment opportunities. Your boss's opinion of you is going to change. Your company's going to go a different route and might not need you. So there's all these things that could be changing in the world. And that's where the view of a book like Choose Yourself can come in and help provide you with the ideas and solutions and ways to be able to choose yourself, create more freedom for yourself, and develop your own systems, build a business, become an entrepreneur and things like that, and live your dreams. So with that, be sure to check out the book in the description below, Choose Yourself by James Altucher. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Strategic Possibilities. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. We'd love to engage and answer any questions or comments that you got and feedback. And have a wonderful day. I wish you the best and wish you success.